Hello everyone and welcome to my Royal Family Today update channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Prince Andrew was proposed as a star advisor to Jeffrey Epstein, according to leaked correspondence. Jeffrey Epstein, a millionaire businessman, offered Prince Andrew a position as a star advisor alongside Lord Peter Mandelson. According to newly leaked emails, Prince Andrew was being considered for a lucrative post as a star advisor to his millionaire pedophile pal Jeffrey Epstein. Following his release from an 18-month prison sentence for child prostitution offenses, Epstein suggested the exiled royal for the job with former government minister Peter Mandelson. Epstein emailed his private banker Jess Staley, explaining that he intended to include the Duke of York and the brains behind New Labour in his business ambitions. "I need to decide how to gear up my advisory business," he stated. "Take a group from Goldman Sachs, the investment bank. Do you want to hire 5 to 10 stars? Who are Larry, Peter, and Andrew?" Larry, Peter, and Andrew are thought to relate to Larry Summers, former U.S. Treasury Secretary in the White House. Lord Mandelson, affectionately referred to as Pitty by Epstein in the emails, and Prince Andrew. None of them are believed to have taken on the position with Epstein, who was found killed in a New York jail cell in 2019 while awaiting trial on more sex trafficking allegations. The U.S. Virgin Islands government filed a sex trafficking prosecution against J.P. Morgan Bank, which resulted in the revelation of 22 pages of communications between Epstein and Ms. Staley, several of which included Andrew and Lord Mandelson. The bank, where Epstein was a client, is being sued for allegedly profiting from Epstein's sex trafficking enterprise. In an email dated June 14, 2010, Epstein informs Mr. Staley, who later became the CEO of Barclays Bank in the United Kingdom, that Andrew just sat next to me at dinner. Epstein wrote to Mr. Staley in June of the previous year, saying, "Ask Andrew about the island, tell him about your boat plans." This is thought to refer to Epstein's Caribbean residence, where girls were trafficked and molested. Andrew was photographed with Epstein in New York's Central Park in December 2010, shortly after the disgraced billionaire was released from prison. In a disastrous Newsnight interview in November 2019, Andrew stated that this was his final interaction with Epstein. The late businessman Robert Maxwell's daughter Ghislaine, who is serving a 20-year sentence in a U.S. prison for assisting Epstein in trafficking minors, introduced Prince Andrew and Lord Mandelson to the child sex beast Epstein. The representative for Lord Mandelson denied any professional or commercial contact with Epstein, adding he had no knowledge of the email exchange. Andrew paid £12 million to settle a civil complaint brought by Virginia Roberts, 39, who alleged that when she was 17, he sexually raped her after being trafficked by Maxwell and Epstein. He disputes her allegations. Andrew did not react to a can't afford Royal Lodge upkeep and must relocate, according to you. According to a new Express.co.uk poll, the Duke of York should leave the Royal Lodge for Frogmore Cottage on the Windsor estate. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have already left Frogmore Cottage in the United Kingdom, after King Charles served them with an eviction notice earlier this year, making the Crown property accessible to the firm. According to a recent poll, the King wants his brother Prince Andrew to relocate from the Royal Lodge to the 5-bedroom home on the Windsor estate, a position echoed by more than 4 in 5 Express.co.uk readers. However, preparations for the Duke of York to leave his residence of the last 20 years have been quietly shelved for the time being while his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson recovers from breast cancer surgery, a royal insider told the Mail on Sunday. Despite their divorce in 1996, Andrew and Sarah continue to live at Royal Lodge, where they look after the late Queen's corgis. In 2003, the Duke secured a 75-year lease on the £30 million mansion and is known to be adamant about staying. Andrew is adamant that he is staying at Royal Lodge for the remainder of his lease, a source told OK magazine earlier this year. He is not going to move into Frogmore without a struggle. Royal Lodge is his home, and he will do everything in his power to keep it. Should Prince Andrew move to now vacant Frogmore Cottage? Questioned Express.co.uk readers in a poll that ran from midday on Thursday, June 29, until 8 a.m. on Monday, July 3. Overall, 4,060 votes were cast, with the vast majority of readers responding yes, 3,417 people, while 14%, 566 people, said no. An additional 2%, 77 participants, answered they had no idea. Readers debated whether Andrew should shrink in dozens of comments placed below the related story. Many commenters suggested that Andrew should relocate to the Grade A listed cottage, with account Paula_Boo stating, "Absolutely agree. The sooner you start, the better. Frogmore's 5 bedrooms are more than plenty for him. He should not be forced to leave his home." Getting Warmer Yorkshire concurred, adding, "But it would be a sensible move as Frogmore has been completely refurbished and Royal Lodge will need constant renovation. I don't think he and Sarah really need more than 5 bedrooms, and there are enough if either of his daughters wants to stay for a couple of nights. Prince Andrew should comply with the King's wishes and move to Frogmore Cottage." User Linf wrote, "That, I believe, is a reasonable compromise." According to the pseudonym Bonsai57, Andrew is no longer a working royal. He is at the age when many retire. He should relocate to Frogmore, especially since he can no longer afford the upkeep and security of Royal Lodge. He'd have a wonderful house with space for himself/Sarah and visiting family at Frogmore Cottage. He would be safe. He could ride, walk the dogs, and relax in his spare time. Others argued Andrew should be permitted to stay at the Royal Lodge, which needed improvements. If Andrew is able to fulfill the terms of his 75-year lease agreement and wants to continue living at Windsor Lodge, then he's perfectly entitled to it, user Chwariteg said. It was his mother's wish that he could remain in Royal Lodge as long as he liked, so any move has to be up to him, said user Just Fergie recovers from cancer. Prince Andrew avoids expulsion from Royal Lodge. Andrew and Sarah Ferguson were forced to leave the Royal Lodge after the prince refused to pay for an expensive refurbishment. According to reports, Prince Andrew has been advised that he can stay at the Royal Lodge while his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson recovers from her breast cancer surgery. Fergie revealed last month that she had breast cancer discovered during a regular check. Fortunately, she is recovering after an operation and has been relaxing in the £30 million property she lives with Andrew on the Windsor estate. The Duke of York and his brother King Charles have been at odds over the Royal Lodge, with stories claiming he was told to leave after failing to pay for a costly renovation. However, due to Fergie's breast cancer diagnosis and use of the 30-room mansion as a sanctuary while recovering, efforts to throw the pair out of the premises have been postponed. Following her shocking diagnosis, the 64-year-old underwent an 8-hour mastectomy, with daughters Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie racing to her side. Andrew reportedly refused to leave the estate despite the king's plans to reduce his £250,000 income as part of a budget overhaul. Since the death of the Queen Mother, the pair has been living at the house for the past 2 decades. The lease on the house is intended to span several decades, but the building is thought to require significant modifications. Andrew's income has been reduced, making it doubtful that he would be able to finance the much-needed upgrades. According to reports, the king told Andrew and Fergie that they would have to cover the bills themselves. However, royal insiders say that plans to force the pair out of the house have been put on hold while Fergie heals. Fergie's diagnosis became public last week when doctors discovered cancer during a regular mammogram. After a successful procedure, she was discharged from King Edward VI Hospital in Marylebone, London, on Sunday last weekend, with reps saying her experience underscores the importance of regular screening. Sarah, Duchess of York, was recently diagnosed with an early form of breast cancer detected at a routine mammogram screening, a spokesman for the Duchess stated. She was advised that she needed surgery, which she underwent successfully. Fergie has since thanked her supporters for their online support as people rallied around the Duchess of York. Andrew is reported to have been by her side during the struggle, while Eugenie and Beatrice are supposed to have joined their parents at the Royal Lodge to support their mother. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.